Hello class, this is Phil, and today I'll talk about one of the marketing topics we covered in class. I'll talk about company image and how it can be shaped by its customer service. When it comes to company image, customer service interactions between the company and the customer can either create a positive image or completely destroy a company's reputation. First, I will discuss a customer service horror story, followed by a positive experience, and finally I'll talk about a recent personal experience with customer service I had. One example of poor customer service occurred on April 9, 2017, on United Airlines Flight 3411. This was a flight from Chicago O'Hare Airport to Louisville that was fully booked. The problem arose when United decided that it had to kick 4 passengers off the flight to make room for employees. Travel vouchers were offered to passengers willing to swap flights, but only 3 agreed to swap. Eventually, the airline made the decision and decided to select 1 passenger randomly to involuntarily kick from the flight. That passenger was David Dow. Dow explained that he was a doctor with patient appointments he would miss if kicked from the flight, so he wasn't willing to leave the flight. But the airline wouldn't budge. Eventually, security was called, where he was removed from his seat forcibly, causing him injury and dragged unconscious off the flight in front of everyone else. A fellow passenger took a cell phone video of the incident, which caused widespread anger of the mistreatment of the passenger. This social media explosion led to the boycott of the airline and even President Trump criticizing the airline. The CEO of United Airlines, Oscar Munoz, had a chance to remedy the incident with his initial statement, but instead gave us all a lesson of exactly what not to do. Munoz made no attempt at an apology and instead applauded his employees' actions for dealing with the belligerent customer perfectly. Unfortunately for him, other passenger statements as well as video evidence showed that Dow was respectful the entire time and that it was actually the United staff who had acted unnecessarily violent. The CEO could have apologized and stated that he would do everything he could to prevent a future incident. Instead, he failed to do this and further enraged customers. The incident cost the airline millions and permanently hurt its image by showing poor customer service and an unwillingness to try to get better. This all could have been avoided if the company had planned its employees' travel ahead of time and not overbooked flights. Overbooking flights is a terrible practice for any airline and it is destined to make some customers unhappy. Positive customer service experiences, on the other hand, can make a customer loyal to a brand for a lifetime. And when a customer is loyal, they often recommend the company to others, which helps the company even more. My example of a positive customer service experience comes from a Yelp review of a Ritz-Carlton hotel. A hotel guest in a rush to make his flight had left his laptop charger in his room. Surprisingly, the next day he received his charger at home in an expedited package from the hotel, stating that they were sure he would have missed it and they hoped that he would continue staying with them in the future. As a company, ensuring that everyone understands the importance of actions like this can make the difference. In this example alone, it would have taken the cleaner finding the charger, taking it to the hotel's loss prevention personnel, and then they would have had to look up the guest info quickly and arrange a fast delivery. But by doing all this, they gain the appreciation and loyalty of the guest. With sites such as Yelp becoming more and more popular, these positive experiences can be shared, and potential customers often browse through reviews before committing to a purchase. Reading about exceptional customer service such as this could make the difference in securing other customers over rivals. Finally, I'm now going to share my very recent customer service experience with PNC Bank. Before joining the military over 6 years ago, PNC was my only bank I'd ever used. When I left for basic training, they set me up with virtual banking so that I could handle all of my needs without a branch nearby. A few years ago, however, my nightmare experience with the company began. When using my debit card one day in the UK where I was stationed, I was locked out of my account. After hours on the phone with customer service, they refused to help me regain access, stating that I would need to visit a branch in person. I stated that I was stationed thousands of miles overseas and that was impossible for me to do, but they still refused to help me in any way without visiting in person. To alleviate the problem, I had to start up an account with USAA Bank. Fast forward 3 years into the future to last week, and the problem was still not resolved with PNC. I was finally able to make it home to Michigan to visit family for the first time since joining the military. However, while I was home, I knew that I had to fix the problem with PNC since that was the only place where branches were able for me to visit. After hours of precious family time wasted on the phone, they refused to even give me my account balance or fix anything without visiting in person. So I made an appointment to visit. Due to COVID limiting hours of operation, the only available branch that would have an appointment available for me was an hour away, so I made the drive. However, after arriving, I was told that the employee I'd spoke on the phone with had left early that day, and I had no idea that I was coming. Because of this, I had to do everything through the drive-through intercom. 2 hours later, they finally wrote me a check and officially closed my account. This disaster, year-long experience with them ruined their company image for me. The sheer inconvenience it caused and hours of wasted time will have me telling everyone I know not to ever bank with them. I fear for them treating other people the same way. I couldn't believe that a bank with millions of customers would treat a military member stuck overseas the way they treated me for no reason. Forcing me to visit a bank in person was impossible for me at the time, and I feel it was an unrealistic thing for them to ask of me. That wraps up my video on company image and customer service. I showed how customer service can either lead a company to great success and customer loyalty, or lose the company customers and cause PR disasters and company image to be ruined. Because of this, it is very important to establish excellent customer service as a cornerstone of any successful company.